Building your email addresses, what we hear a lot is, how do we get more email addresses? Because when we find out that when you have an email address of a donor, the relationship that you're able to cultivate actually increases their average gift, their response rate over a long haul. So the groups that we're working with says, how can we get more email addresses, and where are we getting them from? And there's those challenges in figuring out, and we're going to give you a kind of several different ways of collection and thinking about the importance of those items. And we'll show you some examples about what that true integration means in a little bit. So again, your email collection on your website needs to be front and center, as you can see here. And depending on the time of the year for this particular organization, we'll have it on the homepage as a lead, trying to get people to get their email address. When you can get somebody to give you their email address, you really have a hot, warm prospect there more than anything else. If you can get a donor to give you an email address, that's even better, and I'll show you some examples of that. But email collection is paramount on this site. There's the purple box right next to that has email, and there's also a sign-up box on the top right that appears on every page of the website. So your website really is an important place, and you really need to repeat the collection points, top, bottom of the page, making sure you're not forgetting it. People don't want to have to search out or seek things on a website. It needs to be user-friendly and easy to get to, just like your Donate Now button or Donate button, same with the email, because a lot of times people will come visit your website and they may not be ready to make a donation, but you want to collect that email address before they leave and go to the next website. So really being important about that, and just utilizing the most prominent spot, which is your eye tends to go to the right top corner. That's why you'll see Google and their search engine marketing ads are over there, because they've studied that, and there's been eye studies to go there. So utilize those prominent points of your website for very important items like email collection. Also, we've tested and very successfully for a bunch of different organizations, search engine marketing, and these are paid ads. So as you can see, this is for the Parkinson's Disease Foundation, and the ad says, free Parkinson's e-updates, nonprofit provides research and treatment info in monthly emails. That went to a landing page that had and a collection point. They received a pretty decent conversion rate of 10% off the ads. If you can't afford, this costs money. This particular campaign was a paid campaign, but you can apply for a Google grant. I don't know if everyone's familiar with that. Google, if you're a 501c3 charity, you can apply for a grant. It's $10,000 a month on advertising, and you get it for 3 months, and then they review. And then if you do a really great job with the advertising, you can actually get more money than that. With a Google grant, you actually have a cap. So you can only bid under $1. So one thing about the Google grant, what we're finding is certain organizations' keywords. There's a lot of big nonprofits out there that are doing search engine marketing. And so sometimes the $1 for the Google grant actually gets you nothing, because you have to be over $1. And we have a couple organizations that are in international development, and all the big fish are buying up all the keywords, and the words are over $1.50. And so the Google grant has not been effective. So some organizations have to come up with some budgets. And you really, you can do a test budget at year end, which we've done for some organizations, $10,000, $20,000, but a real substantial budget is usually 6 figures for search engine marketing for acquisition. The good news about that is what we're tracking for a lot of organizations is the value of an online donor compared to a direct mail donor is so much greater over the long haul. We have a couple of organizations where we've been working with them over 10 years online, and from the beginning until now, and we're able to track those values of those donors. So the greater cost to bring them in, though, is being made up by the fact is their long-term value is very productive. Also, another way of doing it, sometimes you may not be able to have an attractive email program that you're going to bring people in. This is an example we set up for Covenant House. I showed you some early examples. Well, who wants to receive, unless you're really diehard convictions about homeless kids and really want to help them, you may not want to receive a newsletter about them. So we came up with a program called their Daily Reflections, where they get a weekly spiritual email to opt into. And the nice part is when you can get someone to opt into a 5-day-a-week email and have your brand repeat in their inbox, these emails get about a 30% open rate throughout an entire month. And there's generally about 20 a month. So we came up with this campaign, and this campaign utilizes both the Google grant for keywords that are under $1, and then for keywords over $1, they have a paid campaign for both Google and Yahoo. And it's been a really great, we've collected tens of thousands of email addresses for this particular campaign. And these people actually do respond to our fundraising appeals throughout the year. It may not be exactly the time when they get their daily reflections, but we actually opt them into a few of the campaigns throughout the year, and they're responding to those campaigns. If someone gets the daily reflections, do they get all the other emails? Yes and no. What we do is we create a master solicitation policy, and I recommend that you do that, looking at all the different segments. and figuring out, okay, you have a monthly email, you have this particular campaign, you have year end, you have news updates, you may have advocacy. You have, what we do is grid it out, and we figure out what each group receives. And of course, a group like this that is already getting 20 plus emails a month, they don't get every campaign. They get the most important campaigns, the campaigns that produce the best results, and we'll add them to year end and maybe a matching gift campaign, but they don't get every campaign. And I'll show you another example about another segment that we carefully put into the program. So one thing that we mentioned earlier was mobile, and this is certainly another way of collecting email addresses. It's certainly not for everybody yet. I think that Haiti kind of showed the efficacy of mobile for organizations that get mass media coverage. You know, everyone would love to have Michelle Obama on television asking everyone to text and raise a significant amount of money. We had an organization in New York City, City Meals on Wheels, have a chef go on one of the late shows right after Thanksgiving. It was about how to cook your turkey leftovers, and it was called Text to Turkey, and they got several hundred donations from a $5 donation from this text campaign. What we've done now is we went back to that group of people and tried to get their email addresses from them so that we can have that what we were calling it's the multi-channel is growing and growing every day, but having several channels. So both getting their email address, and then what we did was that same group got a quick text before year end, just reminding them that they can make an online donation. Mobile can certainly cannibalize a very high average gift of an online donor, so you have to be careful and think about the audience you're sending out to. But if you have a captivated audience like here today, this would be a perfect opportunity to collect some information and like a $5 text, because you got people here. You know, who's going to remember to go home and remember to make that gift? We're working with an organization out in California that's getting a concert, 15,000 people captivated an audience, and we've been working with the promoters on figuring out, well, they want to actually have it all go to the website, but no one's going to remember a web address when they leave the concert. Well, we have them in the stadium. We want to have them just text a donation, even though we could probably get a higher average gift, but the chances of getting them to go back online later on are slim. So it really just depends on where you're at. Television certainly with Haiti showed that text fundraising really can catapult, but not everyone has the budgets to advertise with a commercial. So it really does vary to think about that, but mobile is another way that you would want to try to collect that email address to move people online.
With mobile, I mean, you all know the gift limit. You can make a $5 gift or a $10 gift, and as Paul said, tends to be and now the monthly.
No, actually, they're trying to get 20 and 25 now. Has
that gone into effect yet?
Not yet. They're still fighting with cell phone companies.
That will definitely change and probably change soon. But we've seen a lot of groups replace the prominent donate button on their homepage with a text us a donation. And they give that information, and I mean, our sense is like there are great opportunities, but the risk that groups that are getting a $50, $70, $100 average gift online are suddenly advertising text us your donation. And so, you know, you have to be very careful how you're using this medium, but it has great opportunity.
When you do a mobile campaign and when you want to get the email address, so yes, when you get a mobile donation, you get only the cell phone number, that's all. So what we've been trying to do with the groups that we've been doing mobile campaigns is come up with a campaign to then collect more information like the email address, so then you can start communicating with them and get them into your multi-channel program. The phone company does not charge anything for the transaction. It's the vendors who are providing the service is charging the transaction fee. The phone companies have actually not taken anything from that. A couple of caveats with mobile giving is that getting the money, though, from the cell phone companies does take some time. It can take up to 3 months for a text donation to get into your bank account because they're waiting for their customers to pay their bills because they're actually taking the credit on them. So that's the one thing to kind of be aware of. It might be a very immediate way.
Ironic, it's been used for disaster relief with this tremendous immediacy, and then you're talking 2 to 3 months for the money to get to the nonprofits.